All right, so the goal, the focus of this particular lecture is to kind of give you an overview of the Google Cloud Identity Access Management. So I will ensure that I cover most of the identity access management roles, and in the subsequent video, I would also try and go over the custom roles that you have, you know. So one of the item I want to quickly go over here, if you start on this navigation menu bar here, if I go to this place, we see identity access management. If I click this box, that will pretty much bring me over to this page, and you can see under this section here the various options that you have. Here you can add a user. If I click over here, I can add a particular user and I can select the member that it belongs to. I will go over this one with you guys later. I don't want to dwell too much a little bit on it. So when I come over here, if I want to add a user, I can go to the top here, and if I know the name of the user that I want to add, now I can easily find anybody if you have a Gmail. For example, I have one email account here that I can come over here and I can say at gmail.com. You can see now, you immediately find my name. Anybody with a Gmail account, I can put your name up here. You know, there are other ways in which I can also pull somebody's name from Google Cloud Platform environment. You will have to create a G Suite that allows you to integrate your custom domain name. So that's one way to do it. But for the sake of the example, I'm going to select this username. All right. So as I've selected this now, I can come over here and decide what role I want to give to this person. Now remember that this provision or this permission is only applicable to this project. And if you look at this project, that's what you see up here. See where my mouse is circling around? This is this project, CVF 1071. That is a project. All right. And the permission I'm setting over here is only on this project. If I move or switch to another project, this permission does not apply again. So I can drop down this button over here and then decide what kind of access I want to give them. Now, on this section over here, you could see that I have different kind of access approver, access contest, actions, AI. There are several type of access that I have. Billing, for example, and under that I have some other sub, CB query. Then I have, sub, more granular options that I have over here that I can grant, to an individual. The reason I'm walking you guys through this is because I want you guys to see the very high important level that you need to figure out over here. Now, if I were to come over here, excuse me, and I just select a project. See, project is very broad. On that project, I can either make somebody editor, owner, or overview. That's a project level access. And it's relatively very, very broad, right? If I make somebody, say, a viewer now, the person have a read-only actions, they cannot affect anything, they cannot modify existing results or data, that's all they can do. If I make them an owner, well, they will have all the permission of a viewer. They will be able to manage roles and permission for a project and all the resources that are in it. They'll be able to set the billing project. So this is pretty broad, if you consider that. And you should only give it to somebody that you really need to give it to them. Now, this one here, editor, that allows them to view permission, that allows them to modify the stage or as changing. So overall, this is the most access we can give to somebody, followed by editor, followed by viewer. That is at the project level. It's relatively very, very broad. Remember, it is very, very important. I can give somebody an owner permission, but you can also use some other sub-level access to limit what they can do. All right? We're going to talk about all these other permissions a little bit down the road. But remember, this is a project level access and it's relatively broad. You don't have a lot of granularity over there. I'm going to click cancel here. I just want to kind of explore a couple of the roles over here so you are most familiar with it. I'm going to go to IAM over here. I go to IAM admin and I'm going to click IAM. So that brings it back to where we were before here. It's really nothing much that we're doing over here. One thing I'm going to do quickly, you could see all the members, you could see the names, and you can see the roles that they have. I can actually even come over here on this thing that looks like a pencil here, and then change their permission. I can go to this Emmanuel here, Israel Emmanuel. He's an owner, as you can see, of this project. I can come over here and then edit it and change his role from being an owner. So I can, anybody on a Gmail account, if I want you to be able to access this in your own environment, all I have to do is add your Google name and I'll be able to give you access from here. So it's relatively straightforward. All right, so now let's go ahead and now and prepare a resource so that we will be able to leverage this account. That will help us to drive home the concept that I'm trying to explain. So from this navigation here, I'm going to go to storage at the bottom here, go to storage, and I'm going to go to browser. Now, in case you're not familiar with this storage over here, that's like creating online storage. And most of you guys are familiar with online drive, OneDrive, and stuff like that. This is almost similar or equivalent to that. Now, I can delete some of my storage that I haven't used in a while. Of course, it's going to ask you to confirm the action by entering the name of this thing. So I can come over here. The goal of this is to prevent accidental delete. So I come over here and I say delete, and that's gone. So I've created some stuff in the past before that maybe I don't need them anymore, and I want to kind of delete them. I have the opportunity to just do that. Again, it's going to ask you to enter the name of what I have here, and I want to clean these up as much as possible so you could see what it would look like in a newer environment, because some of you guys are going to have this in your environment. Now, don't forget that a lot of the time when you are doing something like this, you need to go back and clean after yourself. Your instructor may ask you to create something, and oftentimes many people will forget to go back and clean up. As you can see, even my own environment now, I haven't cleaned up much yet. The downside of this is over time, this thing can get clogged up, and in some cases, you might be getting charged for it. But GCP is a relatively good platform, and you won't see much unusual charges. And if you see any charges that you're surprised of, always go back and ask them. Now, as much as possible, I would say clean up after yourself. Now, there are times when you want to delete something like this and it will not delete. The one major reason why the delete function may not work is simply when you're trying to, I would say, delete a bucket that have something in it that is being used. You can see in my own environment I'm able to clean most of these. If any of these containers have a file that is being used by another application or something like that, then that will fail. Now look at it, I have no bucket anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and create a bucket. You can use this button to create a bucket. You can come over here to create a bucket. This will work for you. So I'm coming over here, I'm going to create a bucket. Okay, and I click create, and I can give the bucket any kind of a name that I want. The name have to be globally unique. What does that mean? It means anybody on the planet who is on GCP, if they have a name that they already created, you will not be able to use that name. So for example, if I said Minnesota, for example, if somebody already have a name called Minnesota, anywhere on the planet, on GCP, I will not be able to use it. You see that? So it's very, very important. It's got to be globally unique. So it can be frustrating, but again, remember, you're not the first person to use GCP. So if anybody's using it, and the reason is that whatever name I create over here, I can share with anybody on the planet. I can give anybody access to this online storage. In fact, if you're trying to transfer a big file and you couldn't use Google to transfer it to your Yahoo email, I can create a bucket over here and drop the file inside this bucket and then give you the link and then you can grab the file. Pretty easy, huh? Fun stuff. All right. Okay. So come over here now. I can say let's call this. What do we call this one? Let's call this one CVF. I'll call it CVF 1071. Let's see if anybody have that. Somebody's already have that. All right, let me do this one. I'm going to call this Century CVF 1071. Now nobody has that yet. So I can decide to go to configuration on this side over here. As you can see that there are certain things that you need to kind of look at. You can select the storage size over here. Okay, that's totally up to me. If you just go to continue, let's say you go to continue here, it's going to ask you a question. Do you want to make it multi-region? Okay, that means it's going to be highly available. Okay, you can see it from various regions that you have, and this is kind of it's going to be highly the highest availability. Okay, for this particular bucket, they call it bucket, but it's a storage. Then of course in the United States, you go to continue. You can make it a standard, or if you want it to be something that you're going to be using for a long time, or you want to have archive some files over there, so on and so forth. You can read these details here, and you can see you have different kind of format that you can put it on in the kind of it depends on your business requirements. So if I'm going to be using it a lot and I'm going to use it for a long time, then I'll probably maybe think of a code line. But look at this one, best for short-term storage and frequently accessing the data. You want to put it over here, right? If it's a data that you don't access a lot, say for example you want to put your family picture there, old checks and stuff like that, something that you don't even access, maybe you probably put it on archive. But then if you put it on archive, it's a lot slower compared to standard. Okay, so the trade-off is just there. Just make sure you know what it is you're trying to do. Again, remember that I didn't set up anything over here. If you want to go ahead and set something up, go ahead and do that. Right now, I'm going to take it as a default, or you can spend some time and look at the availability over here. It's 99.95%. For this particular file. So I'm going to go ahead and go to create, and I've created a bucket. Now I'm going to go ahead and upload the file. And if I have some picture file on my system, I'll go ahead and go to picture. Let's see what we can do here. I would let's see. There's a picture of Earth from Jupiter. I don't think anybody in this class has been to Jupiter before, so I'm going to use that. So I've uploaded a picture, the JPEG picture here. I think it's kind of cool. I can upload another picture here, another files here. Maybe I'll grab a text file here if I have some. Let's see if I have any text file. Let me go to document if I have anything. Yeah, you can put this file over there. You can even change the name. Let's call the name hello.txt, huh? Where's that? There you go. Actually, I'm gonna do this. Yep. Alright. So I'm gonna grab the hello file, move it up here, and just like that. Okay. And that seems to have gone. Okay. then I can go ahead and I begin to go to storage again, go to my browser, and I can see the file, the bucket that I have over here. It's right up here. It's got some files in it. As you can see, we uploaded about 2 files in it earlier on. You can browse down over here and see most of the features that you need to see on this one. Now, I can begin to grant someone access to this thing though. And that's really what I really want to show you, because I think that is a little bit very important. So you can be able to see the importance of granting somebody access to a particular resource, because somebody may have access to this and somebody may not have access to this. So let's go back to IAM here and go to IAM on this section here. Now what I can do is I can grab, actually I can add somebody if I want to. Go ahead and add, and I can come back over here and select at gmail.com. The name is populated. I can come back here. I can go to storage if I want to. Need to go to bucket. So this is where I really want to really show you something that is very, very, very important, because this is often time where you take some time and browse through some of these options that you have over here. You can see cloud storage here. See that? That's my cloud storage. I select this now, and then I can come over here and I have various types of options that I can select for this particular user. Now, why is that important? Sometimes I just want them to be able to do certain things and not be able to make any kind of changes. So I can come over here and say, you know what, storage object viewer. And if I go to save now all of a sudden, if this particular user, because let's say I want to share my pictures with you, and I don't trust you, I don't want you to accidentally just delete them, right? So then I will select your Gmail and I will give you storage viewer. If you look at this particular person now, the only role this person has is they can view this storage. Now, if I didn't do that, they might be able to delete my files. Now, if this person were to log on from their own Gmail account, I wouldn't do that here, but if they were to do that, then they'll be able to come over here and just browse this file. And by the way, one thing I can also do, look at this file. I want to show you something here. This particular file that I just created over here, I can make these available to anybody if I want. How will I do that? I can copy the link here. And if I give anybody this link, I'm going to copy it on a notepad because I wanted to see what I'm doing. I can copy this link. You see that? And if I give you this link, you'll be able to access this pictures file that I have. In fact, if I want to be a bit creative, I can just come over to Word here, a document over here, and what I can do is I can say my vacation picture, right? And I can come over here, right click this one and go to link, and then enter this stuff over here and this. See that? You understand that? Now, you know, and I can say, hope you enjoy our outdoor camping pictures. Stop. And then when somebody click this, boom, the automatically goes to NC picture. But they will only be able to view it. Because remember over here, I've only given them permission to be able to only view the picture. Where is it again? Come back here. That's all I've only given them. To be able to see, to be able to object viewer. They will not be able to do anything more than that. Okay? Now, one other thing you could also do, and the particular user can actually even do that if he wants to, depending on how you do this. You can go to console. You know, when you come over, there's this button over here. You call it Cloud Shell, but it's like having a console. I'm gonna bring that up here. And with console, it's like accessing your shell environment, almost like an equivalent of a DOS mode or shell mode. You can look at this one. It takes a little while. I will say about 2 minutes, you know, to provision, depending on your system. And what this is doing is creating a 5 gigabit storage for you, as you can see. This is not a VM, even though it's a VM. Okay, but now here I have about 5 gigabytes of storage in this shell environment. Okay, remember how I got here? I click this and then come over here, and you can see my project here. You can have multiple shell if you want. Look at this plus sign. You can select this plus sign. See that? And if I like, I can actually switch to a different project under this shell. I can go to Missouri, for example. And you can see I'm in Missouri now. So I have 2 shells now. One shell here, which is on this project. Another one is still on this project, but I have another shell here, Missouri. So you can have multiple shells here, you know, working on various projects together. Is that clear? Just want to kind of show you so you can see the difference between, you know, this shell is not limited to just one. Okay, I'm back over here now. I'm just going to stick to this one. Just want to quickly show you some things over there. One thing I'm going to do is I want to show you how I can access my storage from DOS environment. Okay, I'm going to put this one here, but then I need to know my name. And as you can tell, our name over here, if I can just copy it a little bit, that's why you want to make sure you don't select a name that is too weird, because now you have to type it. Alright, so if I come over here, let's say I press enter. Right, it's saying I have 2 files there, Jupyter.jpg and this text file. See that? That's 2 files I will copy there earlier on. And if you don't know what this one is, this is Google Storage Utility. That's GSUTL. Google Storage Utility. And LS, that's a Linux command to list. Alright? And GS means Google Storage. And then // that's your storage name. You understand? And then you can see what I've got over here. Just shows you the 2 files that I have here. Alright, so you could view some of these things from your you know, cloud environment. So that's very, very important. Alright, so I hope I've helped you a little bit. If I want to really be a lot more fun, if you want to do this with your friends or whatever in the class, you can actually give somebody in your class a permission to a particular storage bucket, and then put some files on it and ask them to modify that file, and then they may be able to modify that file, or give them view permission to it and ask them to delete the file. They'll not be able to delete the file, and so on and so forth. So this is just one way to kind of show you that with GCP you have the opportunity to set permissions, and those permissions can be very, very broad. You should also remember that I've used storage cloud as an example in this class, but also remember that I don't have to use that, right? I could set permission on a VM, and in that case, if I were to select somebody here, I'll use this one for you now. Right? I could have come over here and select compute. So I'll go over here and just show you what I will have done. Compute engine. Okay? So there are different kinds of roles for different kind of object, and you can see how many stuff here. Now if I want somebody just to be able to start a virtual machine, and you can do that in your class, that'll be a fun exercise to do. You can create a virtual machine and you can actually have somebody to be able to just log in. So they can only log into that whatever. That's what they can do. So there are certain things also you can actually do in such a way that you can actually make somebody that they can restart the machine. And if you're not sure what you can get with somebody, if you just go over it, just mouse over it, it will tell you that this person will be able to do X, Y, Z to this particular machine. Alright, so this is a very, very elaborate and comprehensive roles that you have in your environment. Alright, so this is where we're going to stop on this one. Thank you so much.